second. Think. Look at the code. The bug is probably something very simple. Just you had it working a minute or two ago. Just look at the code and find where the bug is. Okay, sometimes you will have to get into the debugger. Fine. How many of you use the debugger so much that you're good at it? Right? You know all the hotkeys, right? You know how to breakpoint and single step and step over and all those things, and you know all the keystrokes. I've forgotten all of them. I don't know how to do it anymore. I have to use the mouse to debug. I've got to look at the icons. Oh yeah, that one there. Does that mean step over or step in? I just don't do it enough. No, I do it. There's times when I've got a test and it's failing, and okay, I'll set a breakpoint, but it's very infrequent. Manual test scripts are immoral. I want you to imagine. Do we have any testers in the room? No testers in the room. Imagine these people, right? We give them this big document. This big document has all the manual test scripts. And this document would put an elephant to sleep, right? Sit at the terminal. Enter QXB5 into the name field. Enter ZZF4 into the password field. Click Login. Could you imagine doing that as your job? And not just once. You have to repeat it over and over and over again. This is what you're going to be doing for the rest of your life. It's immoral. It's immoral to make people do this because a machine can do it. Why in the world would we make manual test scripts when we could easily automate them? Those things are fundamentally automatable. All of our tests should be automated. That doesn't mean we don't want people playing with the system. When people are playing with the system, we want it to be creative. We want them to be doing exploratory tests. We want them thinking of evil ways to break the system. But I don't want to give a whole room full of people some script that they have to follow. Let a machine do that. The vast majority of test scripts should be automated. And they should define done. What does it mean to be done? What is the definition of done? Now, there have been a lot of them over the years. I've consulted for companies that had the term done, and then the term done. I advise them to shrink that down to one definition. Done should mean all test passing. There's no other criteria that makes any sense. The done means all the tests are passing. So every iteration, 2 weeks long, all of the tests are written during that period. They are executed during that period. The tests pass during that period. At the end of that iteration, all the tests pass. What's left for QA to do? Nothing. QA wrote the tests at the beginning of that period. The developers executed them in the middle of the period. They all pass at the end. There's nothing left for QA to do except for exploratory testing, which they should always be doing. Test through the right interface. How many of you are using a tester that goes through the GUI? One of those tests like Mercury or Robot or stuff like that, right? If you are using a tool like that, I want you to consider some things. I have a client. This client has 15,000 acceptance tests that he runs through the GUI. Every single one of those tests runs through the GUI. He's got so many of them, he doesn't know what they do anymore. He just knows that all of them have to run. And when someone changes the GUI, 1,000 of those tests break. What is he supposed to do when 1,000 tests break? Is he supposed to fix all those 1,000 tests? Well, he's decided not to do that, I'll tell you that. Is he supposed to throw those tests away? Well, he hasn't done that either. He knows that they all have to pass. His final decision was to tell the developers, never change the GUI. And that's where he lives today. He wrote this system long, long ago. It's an old DOS-based system. He can't even get it into Windows, right? Because he's stuck in this realm where the acceptance tests have been coupled to the GUI. It is a bad idea in general to test business rules through the GUI. Now, you can test the GUI through the GUI. Nothing wrong with that at all. Get a nice GUI tester, test the GUI. In fact, what I would recommend is that you rip out the business rules entirely and replace the back end with a nice little thin stub layer that has all the answers known, real stupid and simple, and then run all your GUI tests so that you can test the GUI running, and then test your business rules with a completely different kind of system that does not go through the GUI. Apprenticeship. How are we going to teach the new people coming in? We've tried the idea of running them through the schools, but the schools do not prepare software developers for the industry. We've known this now for years. They come out of school, maybe they know a programming language, maybe not. And our practice has been to kind of throw them into a room, give them 1,000 pages of UML, and hope code comes out sometime. Right? We're going to have to face the fact that for the time being, the knowledge of our profession lives in us. It's not in the schools. And so we are going to have to take the responsibility to grow these people. Bring them in as apprentices. Follow an apprenticeship model. Make sure that when you hire new people, you have them sit with the older people and program with them for long periods of time. Pair programming was invented for this model. Right? Have them sit down to the people who really know what they're doing and work with them for weeks and weeks and weeks so that you know you can transfer knowledge to these people. Oh yes, use good tools, kind of obvious. I'll just mention one. Source code control systems. You're using them, good. Glad to hear that. That was not my point. Right? Who's using CVS or Subversion? Nice tools. Yeah, look at that. Okay, this is good. Nice tools. And, the price is right. Why is it that the best software is free? Has anybody noticed that? You get all this open source code out there, and it works. And they don't have really long bug lists, and generally their response time is fairly high, and they turn around new releases and they fix bugs. Why is it that open source code is fairly high quality, but the stuff you pay for is crap? Why? And I think the answer there is that the open source community writes this code out of care. They care about it. They are invested in the code itself, not in the commercial aspect. I'm a roaring capitalist. I think commercialism is terrific. I want people to make money writing code, but I will observe the fact that the best tools out there seem to be the free ones. And let's see, I'm going to get to the end. Point, that's the contact information. One more thing about the green band. Right? I wear this as a symbol that I will work as well as I can. It's simply a symbol of ethics. I will be a professional programmer. So, I have a few of those. If you want some, first come, first serve. Other than that, this is contact information for me, and thank you very much for your attention.